Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the last video for my Lost Maples hike. This was supposed to be a two-part videos, but I decided to go ahead and make the third one too because I had enough content to kind of stretch it out. I didn't want the videos to be too long, so this is the reason why I decided to make three. Let's go ahead and get started with the topic of the video, which is what it's like hiking with large dogs. Now, for those of you that have small dogs, I'm extremely jealous because sometimes when I'm walking and I'm hiking, I see like these tiny dogs and I'm just like, wow, they're so well behaved and they're so calm and they're just like trotting with their little legs. You know, one of your strides is 5 of theirs. So it's so much easier to walk with little dogs despite how mean they are to other dogs. But when you have large dogs, you know, Ghost being 95, 98, Fan being 85 to 90, it makes it a little bit harder because now you're having these freaking wheelbarrows like pulling you forward. You know, you have a tank and then in the front, Ghost leading, and then you have Fan on the side distracted by every little rock that he sees. So I'm gonna just go over the stuff that happened here because I thought it was rather funny. We were going down the mountain, right? And I had the belt on where with the carabiner attached to it, and I was like, no, like they were pulling me hard, man. I almost flipped over. I was like, nope. I grabbed the handle and I'm like, all right, I'm walking down with them because this is not gonna be good if I let them pull me. Because I mean, they're on all fours. It's so much easier to walk down a mountain on all fours, you know, being an animal, than with 2 legs, freaking waist grappled onto your 2 dogs. It was rather difficult to do, honestly. Like, I was holding the camera on one side, I'm over here wobbling and trying to catch my balance on the other side, and this is probably the worst thing possible when you're walking or hiking with your dogs. That it's going downhill. Going downhill is the worst thing because say bye to your toes. You know, you're jamming your toe every single time all the way to the front because your dogs are pulling you forward, and your dogs are trying to go down because they're scared. They're like, yo, I'm not trying to slow down, you know, I'm gonna jump. I'm jumping this one little ledge. Just like right there, I jumped with them. I was like, well, hold up. But it is hard, and it's honestly the worst thing that I've experienced with hiking with dogs is that hiking downhill. And this is already like our 5th time hiking, right, with Fan, or 4th or 5th. And every single time we go up mountains and then when we're coming down the mountain, it's the same issue, man. It's them trying to get ahead. Every time it's the same thing. As they're pulling me, I'm taking my time. I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to go down slowly. And they're like, no, man, I ain't gonna fall. We're both not trying to basically fall and bust our face. So it becomes kind of difficult. But I mean, I had to really hold them too. Like my hand hurt from holding them like that. And if you walk them next, like the thing is that when you're hiking, you're not walking them, you know. You can't just put them on your side and be like, all right, let's go down. Like they're gonna try to jump regardless because they're trying to land safely. You know, they don't understand the concept of being next to you. They see a rock that's pretty high, they see that they can make the part at the bottom, so what they're gonna do is they're gonna jump. They're not gonna slowly, like, you put one foot down and then put the other. No, most of the time they jump. So that's actually the most difficult part about hiking with large dogs, is the downhill aspect. And you know what? Maybe it's just me. Maybe some other people, when they hike down hills with their dogs, they don't have that problem. And if that's true, you know, put it in the comments below how you did it. I want to know. I want to learn from other people. You know, if you tell me that you figured out the secret to hiking with your dogs, and then again, you know what? Maybe it's just how energetic my dogs are all the time. I mean, Ghost is super lazy, but when it comes to hiking and being outside, he goes from 0 to 100 instantly. And Fence always. Oh man, by the way, I felt so bad for these old people, man, because they're going. Yo, I'm telling you, like that. Where we went up, it was steep, man. It sucked. Like it was pretty rough. It wasn't something that you just do naturally, and these guys are going up. Well, we just went down. I was like, yo, what? Yeah, somebody, I don't know. Good thing they got sticks though, because if they didn't have that, I'm pretty sure they'd fall. I mean, I was falling. Everybody was falling. Like, the rocks are so slippery. But anyways, maybe it has to do with my dog's energy levels. I don't know. But for me, that is the most difficult thing, is hiking downhill with these two behemoths. And the sad part is they're only gonna get bigger. It's not like one day I'm gonna go outside and be like, yo, Fan is now 20 inches. He's the size of Bebop. What? No, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna be like, why is Fan so much taller now? Why is Ghost 20 pounds heavier? What about the other stuff, right? Other than downhill, maybe you went to a park, or maybe you're planning on going to a park that doesn't have downhills. What is something that you might encounter as you walk with your dogs? Well, for me, the other issue that I have is the pulling. Pulling for the dogs in front of me is kind of difficult to control because we're so kind of used to running together. And this is not that much of an issue because they kind of get over it as the hike continues. It might be something difficult to do if they pull you a lot. You might want to put them by your side at that point and just kind of walk him like that for a while so they can learn not to be pulling as much. Because I've walked them without the belt for quite some time, and it helped a lot, being able to teach them to be next to you, like healing. When I'm running, I personally don't want them by my side. I want them in front of me, because if they're by my side, I can hit them, I can run into them, there's a lot of issues that happen when you're running with your dog by your side. With two of them. With one dog, I mean, it's so much easier. It's not that hard. But when you have two large dogs, it becomes more difficult. The other issue that you might encounter, depending on how your dog reacts, is the amount of people that you're gonna walk into. And this is dependent on what park you're going to, how populated it usually gets, if your dogs are friendly or not. But my dogs personally don't mind humans. Throughout the video you'll see, I think I put 3 different scenarios in where my dogs ran into people, right? And most of the times I will pull them to the side, or if the people I can see are moving, then I just move to one side. And my dog, if I notice that my dogs are not interested in the people, then I just keep walking. I won't grab them. But there's sometimes where Ghost or Fen are, they're staring at the people and they're kind of eyeing them and trying to see what's up. Then yes, I'll grab them by the leash and I'll put them by my side. That way the people aren't uncomfortable. But in these scenarios, Fen and Ghost were just walking. They didn't even acknowledge the person. They didn't even care to look at them. They just kept walking. I was like, okay, that's fine. And we greeted each other, and that was basically it. There wasn't much to that. But don't forget, guys, that if you have a large dog, and I've said this before in my other video, you are basically like the car, right? Like, you need to understand that there's some sort of traffic going on during hikes, right? Because yes, you're both walking and you're both doing the trail, but you have the responsibility of having these 2 giant dogs, in my case, walking towards a person. Now, not everybody is comfortable with looking at these 2 dogs walking towards them. Maybe, everybody experiences life differently. And just because you and I grew up in a positive environment with dogs and with a love for dogs and an attachment towards them, it doesn't mean that everybody else followed that as well. And not everybody experienced the same happiness or joy that we did with dogs. Some people might be traumatized from dogs. Maybe they got attacked when they were a child. Maybe now they're having difficulty coping with and seeing dogs. And it's unfair to them if we just walk up with our dogs in front of us like this and expect them to move out of the way and expect them to be okay with it. As the person and as the owner of the dogs, you have to be aware of the other people's reaction towards dogs. Because I've walked Fan and Ghost at the park in my house, And I've had people make faces as I'm walking by, and you know what? It is what it is. I grab my dogs and I make sure that they don't get near that person, because I know by seeing what gestures that person made, they're not comfortable with the dogs near them. And I've had people tell me, like, there's times where I can't move out of the way, you know. Either I stop or I keep going with them by my side, and sometimes the field is very narrow, you know. And sometimes they're like, hey man, can you grab your dogs? And most of the time I'm like, yeah, but you need to move out of my way too. Because in reality, like, it's give or take, right? Like, I help you, you help me. Yes, I'm gonna move to the side, but you need to do your part too. And you shouldn't be afraid to tell people that. Or if it's narrow, you can tell them, hey, can you please wait there so I can finish? You know, the situation is going to dictate what response you should give these people. We're the ones that hold the responsibility for our dogs. We're the ones that hold the responsibility for our dogs, and therefore we need to act like we understand the other people and where they're coming from. This is going to be based on the other people's reactions towards us and towards you, you know, when you're walking or when you're hiking. So these are just a couple of tips that I've decided to throw in here. And you know, I titled the video for large dogs, but this last part is true for any size dog. The only thing is that not a lot of people are scared of Chihuahuas. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. A lot of people I'm scared of Chihuahuas. They're vicious. Not a lot of people are scared of rat terriers, right? They're cute, they're tiny, or a Yorkie or a poodle if somebody's hiking with their poodle and whatnot. I decided to aim it specifically for large dogs because they're the ones that have the biggest issue. And not only that, but the biggest controversy behind them. So I'll end the video on that note. And if you guys like the video, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and share this video to your friends, because I'm trying to get to that 100 subs, and so far we're getting about 4 subs a week, and I mean, that's not bad. I'm happy with that. I'm barely getting started and I'm learning as I go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content, and I'll be actually making a video that's going to be a little bit different from these that I'll be posting next week, so watch out for that.